Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So, our topic is the research problem and objectives. So, we are the reporter 3.
So, good morning everyone. Good morning, ma'am. My name is Ambrida Eslumayon and I'm from Group 3. And my report for today is about elements of a research problem. Elements of a research problem is a specific question, problem, or difficulty that needs to be investigated or analyzed. So, ang elements of a research problem is, ito na yung mga specific question, ang mga katanungan or problema sa isang topic or sa isang topic na kailangan nating alamin or kailangan nating pag-aralan, kailangan nating imbestigahan para malaman natin yung sagot or issue doon sa mga problema na nagagaling sa isang topic. So what are the elements of a research problem? An understanding of a basic elements of research is essential for good research practices. Among the most important elements to be considered are we have 7 kinds of elements. The number 1 is variables. Sa variables, or sa experimental na research, tinutukoy ng researcher or ako, tinutukoy ko kung ano ang epekto kapag may baguhin ako ng mga bagay o salita. Lahat ng mga bagay o salita na pwedeng ma-measure at mabago ay tinatawag na variable. Number 2 is association. So, ang kahulugan naman ng association is dito na pumapasok yung pagtutulungan ng isang grupo kung paano nila i-help yung kagrupo nila na kahit sa pagbibigay lang ng idea or sa bagong kaalaman about the topic. The number 3 is sampling. So, ang example na lang ng sampling, like for example sa business, sampling ay isang uri ng promotion or pagtataguyod ng isang produkto para sa mga mamimili upang mahikayat at makumbinsi mo sila na bumili sa produkto mo. Number 4 is random. Random, isang aksyon na nangyayari ng walang pagkakasunod-sunod o nangyayari ng walang dahilan. Selection. So, ang selection ay base sa key criteria. So, may apat. So, the number 1 is significance to the discipline. The number 2 is originality. The number 3 is feasibility. And the number 4 is administrator support. Number 6 is random assignment. So, ang random assignment is a procedure used in experiments to create multiple study groups that include participants with similar characteristics so that the groups are equivalent at the beginning of the study. And the last is blinding. Blinding or masking is the process by which information that has the potential that influence study result is withheld from one or more parties involved in a researcher study. The different types of research problem is include theoretical, which is ito na yung tinatawag na question or issue na pwedeng manggaling sa reporter or sa listener. And applied, and syempre action research problems. And this depend on the discipline and nature of the study. An ideal problem is original, important, feasible, specific, and based on evidence. So, syempre, pag may pinag-aaralan tayo na topic, normal na nagiging problema or nagiging mga katanungan sa isang topic. Yung originality ng about sa topic, kung ano yung kaimportantehan, bakit mahalaga ito, bakit mahalagang alamin natin, syempre feasible, and specific, and kailangan din natin magbase sa mga ebidensya na nakikita natin or nalalaman natin about the learning of that topic, kung paano natin malaman yung mga katanungan natin. Paano natin malaman yung sagot sa mga katanungan natin about the problem or about the question of the topic. And I give some examples which is nakasulat din siya, nakalagay din dyan. And the number 1 is the research topic. Next is the specific problem or issue. Next is the significance of the problem. And next is the research questions. Next is the research objectives and the scope of the research and the theoretical framework. And the last is the research design. So, yan yung mga example na galing sa topic ko. And that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. I am Jamin El Abid from Group 3, Reporter 2. So my topic is all about purpose of research problem. A research problem helps you identify the approach you must take the research. It helps the identification of each step you must take to do your research. So, ano nga ba ang purpose ng research problem? So, kung titingnan natin ng research problem, dito natin malalaman kung anong mga step ang gagawin natin sa research study natin. Gaya lang lamang na the sampling strategy. Kung anong gagawin nating strategy para makapili tayo ng respondent in the community. Kumbaga, random respondent natin. Also, the research design, the research analyst, and the research instrument. So, ito lamang yung malalaman natin kung titingnan natin yung research problem natin. So, ang halimbawa na lang ng research problem is like para kang nasa journey na nasa desert ka and may dala-dala kang compass. Kung titingnan masyado ang research problem, para itong compass na dala-dala mo, which is malalaman mo kung anong step next ang gagawin mo, and sa compass kung saan ka pupunta. Kasi kapag tiningnan mo masyado ang research, tiningnan natin ng maayos ang research problem is dito natin madali tayo maka-formulate ng mga possible outcomes sa research study. The research problem is like the foundation of the research study. So, ito na nga yung sinasabi ko na if titingnan natin yung research problem natin is malalaman natin yung mga step na gagawin natin through our research study. So, parang it's like when we trail in the mountain, di ba? May tour guide tayo. Ganun yung datingan ng research problem sa atin. So, it defines the focus, scope, and goals of the research. Also, ito rin yung parang, hindi talaga parang, kumbaga, ito yung tumutulong sa researcher para ma-develop and ma-predict niya yung mga possible outcomes ng research study nila. So, sa kabuuan, the research problem is like the foundation of the research study. Kung titingnan natin yung research problem is kumbaga mapipredict natin yung mga possible outcomes in the research study. So, that's all, ma'am. Thank you.
My name is Keisha Kimberly Cabarles. I'm a third reporter and my topic is all about the source of problems for investigation. Identifying source of problem is crucial for effective resolution and continuous improvement. Dito natutukoy ang pinagmula ng isang problem sa pagkuha ng information and analyzing relevant data at alamin ang mga posibleng dahilan. This presentation outlines case steps and methodologies for investigating source of problems. First is deductions from theory. This relates to deduction made from social philosophy or generalization embedded in life and society that the researcher is familiar with. Certainly, deduction from theory is involved using principle or observation from social philosophy or society to predict human behavior. Halimbawa, ang theory ay nagsasabi na ang mas mataas na edukasyon ay nagreresulta ng mas mataas na kita. Ibig sabihin nito, ang mga researchers daw ay maaaring bumuo ng problems tungkol sa research na mas mataas daw ang kita sa mga community or sa lugar na kung saan may magandang access sa edukasyon. Researchers test these predictions through empirical research, fitting them into a structured framework to explore real-world situations and outcomes. Second is interviewing practitioners. The identification of research problem about particular topics can arise from formal or informal discussion with practitioners who provide insight into new direction for future research and how to make research findings more relevant to practice. Identifying research problems often start with talking to professionals who work directly in the field. For example, if researchers want to study ways to improve mental health support in school, they might talk to teachers, school counselors, and psychologists. These practitioners can share their experience and challenges, like noticing that students are struggling to access mental health resources or that certain interventions aren't working effectively. By listening to these insights, researchers can pinpoint specific issues that need further study, such as the effectiveness of different counseling approaches or the impact of school policies on student well-being. In essence, this discussion with practitioners help researchers uncover real-world problems and understand how their research can make a meaningful difference in practice. Then the third is personal experience. Your everyday experience can give rise to worthwhile problems for investigation. Ang personal experience natin ay isa ito sa una or dapat nating matugunan na problema by reflecting on our everyday encounters, frustrations, or observation within society, community, family, or personal life. This first-hand experience offer unique perspectives leading to relevant and impactful research questions. And the fourth is relevant literature. The selection of a research problem can be derived from an extensive and thorough review of pertinent research associated with your overall area of interest. When choosing a research problems, it's important to truly review relevant studies in our fields of interest. This process helps us identify areas where our understanding of a topic is lacking, guiding the formulation of a meaningful research question. Relevant literature guides researchers in identifying research problems by revealing gaps in existing knowledge. And that's all.
A good research statement typically includes clear objectives, outlines the significance of the research, describes the methodology to be used, demonstrates feasibility, and aligns with the broader field or discipline. It should also showcase the researcher's expertise and passion for the topic while being concise and well organized. In other words, a strong research statement outlines clear objectives, explains the significance of the research, describes the methodology, demonstrates feasibility, aligns with the broader field, showcases the researcher's expertise and passion, and is concise and well organized. Here are some key points to make a good statement research. Number 1, clear objectives. Clearly state the research goals and what you aim to achieve. This helps readers understand the purpose and focus of your study. Number 2, significance. Explain why your research is important and how it contributes to the field. Highlight any gaps in knowledge that your study addresses or any potential world implications. Number 3, methodology. Describes the methods and approaches you will use to conduct research. This should include details on data collections, analysis techniques, and any experimental procedures if applicable. Feasibility. Demonstrate that your research is feasible within the given time frame, budget, and resources. Addresses any potential challenges or limitations and how you plan to overcome them. Number 5, align with field. Show how your research align with existing literature theories and methodologies in the field. This helps contextualize your work and demonstrates its relevance to the broader discipline. Number 6, expertise and passion. Showcase your expertise and passion for the topic by highlighting relevant experience, skills, and interests. This can help convince reviewers of your capability to successfully carry out the research. Number 7, conciseness and organization. Keep the statement concise and well organized with clear sections and headings. Avoid unnecessary jargon and ensure that the writing is clear and easy to understand. Number 8, clarity and specificity. Be specific in your descriptions and avoid ambiguity. Clearly articulate what you intend to do, how you plan to do it, and why it matters. By addressing these key points, a research statement can effectively communicate the rationale, methodology, and significance of your research project to reviewers and stakeholders.
My name is Shalami Almariano, and I am the last reporter for Group 3. And my topic is about mistakes to avoid in crafting a research instrument. So first, overly complex language. Use simple and straightforward language to make sure that respondents easily understand the questions and to prevent confusion. So in doing research, it is very important and we are required to do surveys. So in doing surveys, kailangan yung gagamitin nating language ay simple and straightforward. For example, if ang respondents natin ay Filipino and if that Filipino person can't understand English, we should use a language that they can understand. For example, we should ask them a question using Tagalog language for our respondents to be able to understand the question. So if hindi sila makaintindi ng language na gagamitin natin, mas mahihirapan yung respondents natin na sagutin yung tanong na nasa survey natin. Second is inconsistent formatting. Maintain consistency in formatting throughout the instrument to enhance clarity and make more user-friendly. So in doing research, we should be consistent in our format. Why? Because mas mahihirapan yung babasa ng research natin or yung iintindi ng research natin if ang format na gagamitin natin is very inconsistent. Dapat kung ano yung format na ginamit natin sa umpisa pa lang, ganun din yung format na gagamitin natin all throughout the research. Next is limited range of responses. Provide options that capture the diversity of options rather than restricting respondents to predefined categories. So, in every questions that we provide in our survey for our respondents, we should provide options or more options. Hindi lang dapat tayo mag-provide ng isa or dalawang options. Dapat mag-provide tayo ng mas maraming options para mas malawak yung answers na mabibigay ng ating respondents. Kasi kung magpo-provide lang tayo ng isa or dalawang response or options na pwede nilang isagot, mas malilimit lang yung idea na mabibigay nila sa atin or idea na kanilang ma-provide sa ating research or sa ating survey questionnaires. For number 4, skipping informed consent. Always include informed consent language at the beginning, explaining the purpose and ensuring participants are willingly participating. So, in conducting a research survey, a consent form should always be attached in a questionnaire form. Yung laman ng consent na yon should have the purpose, kung ano yung purpose ng study na kinakandak natin, and dapat na sa consent din na yun, na yung respondents natin or yung participants natin ay willing na mag-participate sa research na ating kinakandak. And dapat hindi yun, we should avoid skipping informed consent because our respondents should always be informed. Yun yung purpose ng consent na yun. Our respondents should always be informed kung ano yung sinasagutan nila and ano yung purpose ng pagsagot nila sa questionnaire na yun. Next is number 5. Insufficient range of response options. Ensure that response options cover the full range of possible answers to accurately capture participants' perspectives. So, dapat sa questions na nilalagay natin sa ating survey questionnaires, there should always be a options. Dapat marami tayong options. So, para lang siyang yung number 3. We should always have a lot of options na mapagpipilian ng respondents sa ating questionnaire. So, dapat sa options na yun, dapat accurate yung masagot nila. For example, there are questionnaires that includes ratings like 1, 2, 3, or 5. Like 1 to 5. Dapat meron silang options na mababase yung perspectives nila. So, 1 to 5 na yun, we have accurate, not accurate, and many more. So, number 6 is ignoring ethical considerations. Adhere to ethical standards in the research, respecting participants' rights, privacy, and confidentiality. So, in conducting a research survey to be exact, based on my own experience in answering some survey questions, merong nakalagay na optional. It means that nakadepende sa respondents natin kung ilalagay nila yung information nila o hindi. Nakadepende sa kanila kung gusto ba nilang ilagay yung kung pangalan ba nila, gender ba nila, or age ba nila. So, in doing so, dapat meron tayong nakalagay na optional sa ating data. So, pwede naman nilang ilagay yung pangalan nila or pwede naman nilang hindi ilagay yung pangalan nila kapag may nakalagay na optional. So, ang mas importante lang naman doon ay yung responses nila sa questions that we have provided. Hindi naman importante na i-provide nila yung personal informations nila like name, age, or gender. Kasi it is their privacy. It is their right for their confidentiality. So, there are a lot more mistakes that should be avoiding in crafting a research instrument. But I just have provided six of these most important things that should be avoided in crafting a research instrument. So that's all for my topic, and thank you for listening.